Hey guys, in this video, I'll be going over how to continue a conversation with a girl over text. This is a follow-up from last week's video when I discussed how to continue a conversation with a girl in real life. Make sure to click the link in description if you haven't already watched it. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to find out when my latest videos come out. So, in this video, we're going to take a viewer question, and that's how to continue a conversation with a girl over text. There's nothing worse than when you slide into a girl's DMs and then run out of things to talk about. It makes you look like a bore and not really a player. So, stay tuned to get my favorite tips. 1. If she's giving dry replies like haha, yeah, with no follow-up response, then just back off. I need to get this out of the way quickly, but one reason why your conversation may always lead to nothing is because she simply doesn't contribute and gives you no leash to continue the conversation. I know it might be difficult to try and let go of her, however, there's no point in trying to make a stone bleed. Don't continue messaging her just to get these dry replies, because you're worth more than that, so don't devalue yourself. I really recommend after a few days of talking, if she doesn't try to even contribute or initiate the conversation, then just find someone else. This is very important to get out of the way, I feel, before starting onto the real tips. 2. Find out her opinion on something, aka having a deep, meaningful conversation. Currently, as I'm reading this, there's the COVID-19 going around, which, by the way, I hope you all are staying inside and not going out. However, with this news, there's so much to talk about, like getting her opinion on whether people should be in or out of work. Then, you two can go back and forward about who's right. The most intense conversations are those where opinions are thrown around because as there's no right answer with multiple views of a situation, therefore, you have to persuade the other person to agree with you and add value to their view of the world. Whilst with a question with a yes or no answer, it always leads to dead conversations since there's nothing to discuss. You'll find people are very passionate about major world affairs like politics, health, and sports. Just make sure to listen to her opinion and don't offend her. 3. Text at night. I really don't know why, but texting at night always feels different than texting at any other time of day. When me and my wife or even friends text, we always have the most interesting and intuitive conversations at night. This is more of an environmental setting, but it really makes the difference. Combine this with the previous tip, and you'll find yourself in a never-ending conversation about something. If you've liked it so far, guys, can you make sure to like the video? 4. Find a game to play. I remember this one time before me and my wife were even dating. I had this genius idea of instead of texting, we played this game of online Uno. This may not be a conversation, but it sure did make us like each other more and more because we got so invested in the game together. And after every game, we talked about our cards, like whether we got a crap hand of cards. Games are especially good if you two have Messenger because there's tons of Messenger games to play nowadays. This makes you look like a fun guy, and not only have you not said a word, but you made her invest time into you. This doesn't even have to be a game like Uno, but could be a challenge, like finding a house under $500,000 with XYZ criteria. When the conversation seems to have reached a dead end, just ask, want to play a game? Then take your pick of the multiple Messenger games or a challenge. 5. Stop talking all the time. This is one of the reasons why you run out of things to say. You both bleed yourselves dry of what to say to each other to the point that if you did say anything, it'll be repetition on something you said earlier. It's okay to leave a few days between conversations to allow a buildup of content for you two to discuss. I always prefer to have a real conversation about a development than a conversation of tons of small talk, like what did you do today, because that adds literally no value to her, but rather wastes her time. You need to add value to her life, like making her think of another perspective of something. 6. Sometimes, you just must accept and embrace the silence. Yeah, sure, she might be really into you, but silence does happen just like in real life. If you two get along, well then, it'll not feel awkward. Remember, silence is beautiful. Me and my wife don't always talk when we're together, and we certainly don't talk all the time on text, so just let it happen. In conclusion, texting is quite a different game to real-life talking, since there's no visible emotions or physical contact, so just remember that to really continue a conversation with text is to add value to that other person's life. It's like in work. You wouldn't email someone just out of the blue to ask about their day, but rather, you give them some valuable information. So, That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, so make sure to comment what else you'd like to see, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.